So if you see me burn a bridge with someone, they were begging for it, or it was just time. Because I like to see things from my side and also the other person's side as well. So I would definitely say the ones that were supposed to be burned happened to me.
Ah,
What's my biggest fear? My worst fear has happened to me. So I don't think that anything scares me in life anymore. I never wanted to raise a child alone, and I'm doing it now. So what the fuck is gonna happen to me again?
yeah.
What could possibly happen to me other than my worst fear happening to me?
Yeah.
I live in it, so don't get anything with anybody feed to me.
Yeah.
Or I'm also scared of being a billionaire.
You should not be because
No,
I'm
they say-
betting on you to be a billionaire.
No,
so
they say
it's
no,
fine.
but you know they say your worst fears happen to you.
Oh, okay,
So
yes,
I'm
yes,
scared
yes,
of being
yes.
a billionaire.
Boom.
Boom. But yeah, my worst fear has already happened to me, so I don't fear nothing.
Never for once has she prevented Davido from seeing Imade, right? So now the next question would be, so why not agree to joint custody then? Because if you are not preventing him from seeing his child, then give him joint custody or agree to joint custody with him. Now this is where she looks like a bitter and a jealous ex, because that's what it is giving. Like it's giving bitter, it's giving jealous, to be honest. And it's just like she's using her daughter as a pawn to fight her battles. Guys, one thing that you should pray to have, pray for your brothers, pray for your sisters to have, even pray for yourself to have, is to have sexual discipline. With sexual discipline, I mean, you would problem self will be running away from you. Like with sexual discipline, like more than half of your life is sorted. One perfect example of a person that does not have sexual discipline is Davido. I'm sorry, but I'm not sorry. When it comes to matters pertaining to sex, Davido is very, very indisciplined when it comes to that. And it's just really sad to see, because more than half of the problems that he's facing right now is caused by sexual indiscipline. You see this custody issue for Imade with Sophia Momodu. What could have prevented it? Sexual discipline could have prevented it. But oh well, the deed has already been done, and I hope that they sort it out as soon as possible, because they are not even the ones suffering. It is Imade that is actually suffering, because I can't even imagine how her heart is going to break when she grows up and she starts reading all this messiness online between her father and her mother. So I am here with a full insight as to how this whole thing started, because it did not just start in 2024. A lot of people think that it is just starting now. No, it started as far back as 2015, just few months after Imade was born. So please walk with me, watch this video till the end so that you can get a full insight into how this whole thing started, how this whole thing turned into like a messy scandal. So in 2014, Davido and Sophia were already dating at that time. Few months passed and Sophia got pregnant. So in 2015, Davido made a long, lengthy, and detailed post about his relationship with Sophia Momodu. Of course, it's now been deleted. It's not on his Instagram page anymore. So he made that post as a response to the outcry by Sophia Momodu at that time, claiming that the Adeleke family were trying to take Imade away from her. They were trying to take her out of the country without her notice, without her consent. Right. So Davido came online to say a few things, to clear the air, and to talk about the relationship and a few other things. So he said that he and Sophia started dating in 2014. Fast forward, to a few months later, she came when she was already in her second trimester to say that she was pregnant. According to Davido, he wasn't really sure about the paternity of the child, but he couldn't deny it because, of course, they had unprotected sex at different times during that period while they were dating. But he could not confirm the paternity of the child until the baby had been born. Right. So during the period before Imade's birth, Davido provided shelter, he provided healthcare for Sophia, despite not knowing if he was really the father of the child or not. So fast forward to May 14, 2015, Imade Adeleke was born, and it was confirmed that Davido was indeed the father of the child, right, after a DNA was done. So according to Davido, even though he took care of all the financial needs of the child and still paid Sophia living out allowance of 300,000 naira every month, Sophia still went about her careless lifestyle, not giving Imade the much needed care and attention that she needed as a child. And this affected Imade's health. She became so sick that one time they had to rush her to the hospital and they found traces of cannabis in her blood, which had an effect on her lungs and affected her breathing. With the new development, it was now proposed that the child would stay with Davido's family for proper care and at least till the cannabis was out of Sophia's system, in which Sophia agreed to at that time. On another occasion, Davido mentioned that him and his family wanted to travel out of the country to take Imade for proper medical care, because I mentioned earlier that Imade had developed kind of a breathing problem. So they wanted to take her out of the country for proper medical care, right? And at this time, bear it in mind that David was around 19, 20 years. So he was still heavily supervised, controlled, and monitored by his family members, right? So David said when they got to the airport, Sophia and her auntie had already stormed the airport and they were already creating a scene, and they stopped them from traveling out of the country with Imadi, because according to Sophia, they were trying to take away her child. They were trying to take her child away from her because she was not informed. There was no due notice. They just wanted to take her child out of the country without her knowledge. So the outcry that Sophia made public when she said they were trying to, is it kidnap or smuggle her child out of the country, actually came as a result of this. So yeah, this is part one of the custody battle. How it started from Davido's lens. Now we're going to be looking into Sophia's lens. So according to Sophia, because of course she responded at that time as well, she said on the 11th of July 2015, David tricked her. 11th of July, guys. This is 2 months, right? After Imade was born, because Imade was born on the 14th of July, on the 14th of May. So on the 11th of July 2015, according to Sophia, she said Davido tricked her to his sister's house, his elder sister's house. He had said that she should come over with the baby after getting to the house in Lekki. She said her baby was forcefully taken away from her and she was threatened never to come back, and she was pushed out of the compound. On the 15th of September, David's dad invited her uncle, that's Lele Momodu, and her for a meeting. She said they apologized, for the way that she was treated, and they told them the reason Imade had been taken from her was because of the drugs was detected in Imade's system, right? So they needed to protect the child from her and David, because, of course, is either from David or from her that Imade got, drugs into her system. So she said she could not understand because she wasn't a smoker, right? And she wanted to even object, but her uncle told her to remain calm. So after the meeting, David's dad requested that they leave the 7-month-old baby at that time with him, but could come around to check on her anytime that she wanted to. Sophia said he also promised to give her some money and a car too. She accepted because, I mean, it was for a good cause. She felt that they had good intentions and she could come to check on her baby anytime. So that was, actually very good. So on the 8th of December 2015, her and her aunt went to David's sister's house. David's sister is Coco, that's his elder sister, where Imade was staying to check the baby, but they were not allowed into the house. And subsequently, they were denied the right to see the child. They were denied the right to see the baby. She also tried to call David. David stopped picking her calls. She was calm until she learned that David, a little birdie, told her that Davido and his family were planning to smuggle, were planning to take Imade to the US. So that was where she lost it. So she told her uncle at that point, her uncle called Davido's dad, and it just seemed like all of them knew what was happening, that the case had already been settled and all of that. So it was at that point that she alerted immigration officials and also airport officials. When they showed up, Coco's sister, I say Coco's sister, Davido's sister Coco, was there, and they asked who the mother of the baby was at that time, and she responded that she was the mother of the baby. That Coco responded that she was the mother of the baby, which was actually false. So at that point, their passports were seized. They tried to call their dad to just salvage the whole situation, but the officials maintained, the fact that they could not travel with Imade unless proper permission was being given. So in that same post, Sophia in her explanation, she tagged Davido, she tagged his handle and said, called him the most useless man any woman can meet. In her words, not mine, she said, I cursed the day I met you, kid. Whoa, that's a big one. So that ended in 2015. So 2016 to, let's say, 2023, we did not hear anything about any child custody or child squabble. We didn't hear anything. It's like they probably worked it out, settled their differences, and were living pretty fine. Hold up, guys. That's not all. So in 2020, there was just that Davido went on a trip to Ghana with Sophia, but Davido came up quickly to clear the air and stated that he did not go on a trip with Sophia. He just gave them a lift because he was going to Ghana to perform at an event. And he had already proposed to Chioma at this time. So probably he was trying to protect his relationship with Chioma at this time. So in 2023, fast forward, Sophia hinted that Davido wasn't taking care of Imade, that he wasn't performing his fatherly duties, and she was considering changing Imade's surname from Adeleke to Momodu, since she is the one that performs both fatherly and motherly roles. Now, fast forward to 2024, the 17th of April, 2024, Davido filed a case for a joint custody of Imade Adeleke with Sophia Momodu. In this case file, he said, it is on record that I have been responsible for the payment of all school fees of my daughter to provide her with the best education possible. I have also been providing money for rent of the apartment where she and her mother, that's Sophia and Imade, live. He also went further to state that he purchased and offered Sophia Momodu a 200 million naira worth of apartment in VI, Oniru VI, but she turned it down, only to request that he pays a sum of 5 million naira monthly for a rented apartment as his own contributions towards Imade's accommodation. He also said for Imade, he bought a Range Rover car for her transportation to and from school. He mentioned that he received a call one time from Imade's school that she had been absent for 2 weeks, and he called and asked Sophia. She mentioned that the car was not in good condition. He then provided another vehicle and the sum of 5.8 million naira as requested by her for the repair of the Range Rover. He also made commitments to pay for living expenses, the fees for the nanny for Imade, provided to provide medical and healthcare insurance and periodic international travel expenses and tickets. He also mentioned that Sophia still makes exorbitant requests like paying the nanny $800 per month and the total lump sum of $19,600 per annum as lump sum. Basically, he wants the court to grant him joint custody and unrestricted access to, seeing Imade. Whew. So now we've heard from David's side, right? Now let's hear from Sophia's side, because there's always three sides to a story. There is the, you know, there's your truth, there is my truth, and there is the truth. So according to Sophia, she and David dated from 2014 to 2017 and from 2020 to 2022, and he provided financial support for Imade's school fees, rent, other living expenses, and transportation, including cars. Ever since she ended the relationship with David in 2022, he had repeatedly threatened to make her life miserable if she does not make herself available to him sexually. She went further to state that David has not seen their daughter since July 2022 by his own choice, that she has never for once denied him the opportunity to see his daughter. He has not also reached out on special occasions like her birthday and Christmas and New Year celebration. And this has left his daughter even asking if her father has caught contact with her. And since July 2022, he has not fulfilled his financial responsibilities towards their daughter, leaving school fees unpaid. Imade's school has contacted him multiple times um, regarding fees for 2021/2022 school term and January 2023. Legal consult was sought in February 2023, resulting in David's father paying the outstanding fees. Hmm. Fast forward to yesterday, adding to why the court should not grant Davido joint custody. Sophia stated that their daughter is a minor, 9 years old, and has stayed with her all her life. That Davido has a controversial lifestyle, which, according to her, would expose Imade to more negative trauma at her age. The father, the father, in his role as an artist, always travels and allows different male adults around him and his house. Right? Because of that, Imade is not safe. Because of the nature of his job, he would not be able to be with her at crucial times. The fact that David lost his son in his house in unfortunate and questionable circumstances, the safety of their daughter is not guaranteed. Wow. That Davido is married to another woman and they live together. The proper upbringing of Imade cannot be guaranteed. She also insisted that he has never been denied access to see his daughter, Imade. That unless he undertakes to change his inappropriate behavior, any visitation and or access to Imade should be done elsewhere other than her house and in the company of the nanny that Imade is used to. That she knows as a fact that the widow is not fit to be granted custody of their child because he is not available and does not possess the ability to dutifully care for her. According to her, throughout their, rela- throughout their relationship at different times, anytime she attempted to break up with him because of his lies and unfaithfulness, he always used the withdrawal of his fatherly duties for Imade as a pawn to force her to resume the sexual relationship with him, which eventually ended in 2022. May I add, finally ended. He never showed true commitment or love for Imade. He always used the condition of her making herself available for his sexual pleasure as a precondition to visit Imade or show her fatherly love. That Davido, aside using her as a sex slave, only comes around to spend time with Imade when he wants to use her for his media stunts or promotions. There was a time in Atlanta, according to Sophia, they were for they went there for summer and Davido kicked them out of the house. Even though he knew they didn't have anywhere to go, stopped all forms of communication with her for up to 6 months until Sophia begged him to speak with her. She also said she has been the one paying the rent of the house where she lives with Imade, that there was agreement that they contribute equally to the rent of the house. But when she entered the relationship, that's Davido, refused to contribute and insisted on 5 million naira as his contribution to accommodation for his daughter, knowing fully well that 5 million naira annually cannot pay half of the rent where she lives with her daughter. She further stated that at no time did Davido inform her of the property he claims to have bought for 200 million naira for Imade. That when via a letter she suggested that he may choose to purchase a house for Imade in her name and set up a trust for her as a way to have a permanent resolution to having suitable and safe accommodation. He refused and said he would only contribute 5 million naira yearly. Ah, guys, this one, choke, no be small. I would have preferred if they had just done this offline. Like, it's possible now. It's possible to do it offline instead of bringing it online, to just make it even messier. Because to be honest, people just want to talk. They don't really care. Like, most people on the internet do not really care about what's happening. They don't really care. In fact, they don't even care at all. They just want to be entertained. And this is keeping them entertained. This is, I mean, they're spending so much time online talking and talking and talking and just keeping themselves entertained at the end of the day. So they don't really, it's not really their problem. At the end of the day, is their problem. Like, it's David and Sophia's problem. So they would have just dealt with it offline. But they've already made it online, and I don't know. What do you guys think? Let me know your thoughts in the comment section below. Again, here is my take. So I think that joint custody would have been trending yesterday, because the way people were just talking about it everywhere, it was like a really trending topic. I'm sure it must have been like in the top trends, to be honest. So what does joint custody even mean? Because yesterday again, I just realized that a lot of people don't even know what joint custody means or meant, because they were probably mistaking it for sole custody. So what does joint custody mean? Just as the name suggests, like joint, when you're doing something with somebody, is a legal custody of a child that is shared by both parents, whether they are divorced or they are separated, as long as father mother is alive, right? And they want joint custody. It can happen on several conditions, based on several conditions, right? But in this case, I don't know if that's going to happen anymore. So here is my take, right? Is Sophia preventing Davido from seeing Imade? Because a lot of people also had like a lot of things to say. My answer is no, because if you read all through the articles, all through the court cases, if you read everything, you would realize that she insisted on the fact that never for once has she prevented Davido from seeing Imade, right? So now the next question would be, so why not agree to joint custody then? Because if you are not preventing him from seeing his child, then give him joint custody, or agree to joint custody with him. Now this is where she looks like a bitter and a jealous ex, because that's what it is giving. Like, it's giving bitter, it's giving jealous, to be honest. And it's just like she's using her daughter as a pawn to fight her battles. Because if you are not stopping David from seeing his daughter, why not just agree to joint custody, then put conditions on those on the joint custody term? Like, I mean, it can be conditioned to suit both parties, right? Not just outrightly sole custody, just for peace to reign. But she has reasons, and to be honest, her reasons are very, very valid, guys. In as much as some can be emotional, some reasons are really, really valid. Number one, she mentioned David's job. She said the nature of his job will not allow him dutifully take care of the child, which is very true. Because if you want joint custody, why do you want joint custody? It's not to have, like, to be able to be there for your child. And if you're a very busy person because of the nature of your job, I mean, we know David travels from one country to the other, right? So how would he even have time to take care of the child, right? That he wants to do joint custody for. Number two, she also mentioned that all the men around him, are also like a big problem for her, which is true. Like, the number of men that are around David, the types of men around him. Like, I mean, she's a growing child. Very soon she'll be a teenager. And in as much as you cannot really protect a child, right, from things like this, you can also do your bit to protect that child, not just exposing the child to a lot of nonsense, right? So that again, and also the fear of them taking the child from her. Once beaten, twice shy. Remember in 2014 when they tried to take the child away from her. So that memory is not going to easily erase from, she's not going to easily forget that memory. So of course she would have issues, trust issues with them. It will feel like they want to take the child away from her, even if that's not what they want to do. Yeah. Then another one is also the unfortunate incident of Ifeanyi. Oh, that one I felt it. It was a bit it was a bit really, really, it was like off limit, to be honest. But in cases like this, guys, like you need to, especially when you're fighting for your child, like you need to be brutal. Like court cases, you have to keep sentiments aside, your emotion, keep it locked in a box. Nobody really cares, especially if you want to win a case, right? That's why they call lawyers liars, because they can defend anything. So in this case, I mean, it was very emotional. I felt it. uh I can't, to be honest, I don't know if I can fault her for using that, but almost she had to do what she had to do, to be honest. Would I have done it? I don't know, but yeah, I mean, it's emotional, but it's valid, guys. She gave the unfortunate death of Ifeanyi as a reason why David cannot have joint custody of the child, so that's also there. And as well, David's questionable character, guys. I mean, he goes without saying, like David is involved in this one very like like I don't even want to go there, but of course we know like what David, like if he's not trending for his music, he's trending for probably, you know impregnating a girl, dating a girl other than his supposed part. So it's just really somehow, to be honest. But my own is, why not agree to, the joint custody, then set conditions that must be met, just so that peace can reign. Because right now peace is not reigning, except if they settle outside of court. Right now peace is not reigning. But just set like joint custody, then set conditions. But at the end of the day, it's her child. I cannot tell her what's best for her child. You cannot tell her what's best for her child, to be honest. And both her and David know what they are actually fighting for, to be honest. Again, like, why did she even go back to date him? Like, after all she went through with him, after all he did to her, after probably the lie he told about her, because according to her, she said that whole drugs um detected in Imade's system was actually a lie, concocted just to take her child away from her. I said Imade, Sophia said it was a lie, right? Why then go back to date him? Someone that told so much lies about you. Why would you go and date him? But they say love and love is blind. I don't know, but yeah. For me, now it's not looking like you are using your child to fight him, because she mentioned, unfaithfulness, how he was full of lies when they were dating and stuff. So it's just like, oh, she's using Imade as a tool to fight him. That's what it's giving. That's what it's giving, to be honest. She also posted rent receipts to support the statement that 5 million naira does not even cover half of her rent in Banana Island. She pays over 23 million naira for rent, guys. Close to 25 million naira for rent. Whew, that's a lot. Per year, that's a lot. What does she do? Even if you do like so much, like even if you're earning like 10 million naira house, it's not okay a year. Why must you do 25 million naira house? I'm sure there are 10 million naira, you can get 10 million naira house a year that is very, very affordable, that's very, very very, very comfortable. But she chose to go for 25 million naira rent. That's a rich, to be honest. In my opinion, that's like too much. And guess what? She pays in installments. When you're paying in installments like this, that means you probably don't have it at you don't have it in hand. You're probably doing more than yourself. You're probably living above your means, which is not good, to be honest. Which is not, because 25 million naira, how are you going to have savings? Like, anyways, she showed receipts of that. She also showed receipts of her conversation with David when they would, talk about sex, when David would ask requests or whatever for sex. That one, I don't know. Like, what was the point, to be honest? Because nobody was really doubting if she was dating or not, if we were dating or not dating between 2020 and 2022. But she had to go that extra mile. I don't know what she's trying to prove, but yeah, she showed receipts of that. Um, Also showed receipts of conversation with David's father and her as well. In all of this, Davido has responded, and he said she keeps on bringing up the death of his child, Ifeanyi, which still haunts them till this day, and also said that he is off the case and that when Imade grows up, she will see that he fought for her. After all, she would not remain a child forever, so she can keep her for now. Okay, so that's the end of this whole messy scandal. I just hope that this is the end. Any other one that they are doing, they should just do it offline. Because at the end of the day, internet people, they want to be entertained. We like gists. We like gists. So they don't really care. We don't really care, to be honest. We just want gists and gists to be talking, 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 talking. So I just pray they settle it, at least for the mental health of that little girl, so that at the end of the day, she should not go and start having daddy issues, abandonment issues. Because if David was not even involved in her life at any point, it's understandable, right? But he has been involved in her life, so she's used to him. She knows him. She has felt what it feels like to have a father figure. She has felt what it feels like to have a father, to call someone father, right? Therefore, this abrupt loss of communication, not miss, this is absolute loss of communication between them. It's now like, oh, what did I do? Am I not good enough? Why is my dad treating me this way? So I just hope they settle it at the end of the day, guys. This has been a very um what's it called, long video. I don't know how long it's going to take, but it's long, sha. So if you watch to this point, you are the real MVP. I don't know if I'm going to break it into two, but at the end of the day, thank you so much for watching. Give this video a very big thumbs up, like, subscribe, comment. I'd love to read from you. See you all in the next one. Bye.